A big thing that came in the news recently, we've talked about Ozempic a few times, and what's weird is I'm starting to see more things come up on my Instagram story with like fitness influencers talking about it.
It seems like something that could freaking like kill you if you overdid it or you do it long term.
That's what a doctor told me on Instagram Reels.
Yeah, there's literally already an eating disorder that is specific to people with type 1 diabetes who are reliant on insulin, where they just underdose their insulin so that they don't take in the sugar that they eat, and then they get to dangerously low weights based on that.
And that
can literally kill you.
Bodybuilders use that.
Yeah.
And that's where they talk about it a lot. But Jamil was talking about it in the context of there's a very serious, what she called a toxic diet culture around the Oscars, meaning that the women want to, I mean, maybe the men too, I don't know, but it seems like it would affect the women more, right? They want to fit into their dresses.
Tim just said there's Chinese food in the kitchen, and
Mary's like,
I don't want to fit into my dress right now. I want some Chinese food.
But is it up here? That's the question.
Do you think that it's rude to speculate as to like whether Mindy Kaling has taken Ozempic because of her weight loss?
I mean,
like, is that mean? I don't know. She's
like
I
it's a compliment.
saw a dietitian do a review of this because she put out like a smoothie for breakfast, and I had turkey sandwich for lunch, and like just tried to say it was like eating and being more active, right? And the doctor was like, the thing is, based on how rapidly she's lost weight on her public appearances and photos, like there's no way she didn't have some kind of intervention,
especially at her age.
And because this is the big thing that's being offered right now, it makes sense, right? I mean,
you could do both. You could restrict your diet, change your diet, and also supplement it with taking Ozempic. But I just hate that it's the body positivity people that always lie about this stuff. When they make the what I eat in a day videos or like their workout videos, it's always misrepresenting things. Even models do this. They show their cheat day. They show, their normal day, not what they do on the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Because they want people to think that this is effortless, but no beauty that you see from Hollywood is effortless.
Well, even the men and women who compete in like bodybuilding or physique competitions will tell you that like, look, this is not how we look year round.
Dude, I can tell you firsthand, having lived with my brother when he won Mr. SMU for the bodybuilding thing, he was going to law school. He was like working out twice a day, eating a deficit. Like he was always dehydrated, barely eating anything except for like pounds of ground turkey. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
Sounds disgusting.
He was like, you could tell he was draining on his mood and stuff. It was insane.
It's not good for you. Like here's Jamil's quote regarding all of this around the Oscars. So it says, a lot of discourse about how skinny everyone is at the Oscars this year. Many people start dieting unsustainably like effing mad just after Christmas for this one night on the global stage. A lot of people this year took weight loss injections which don't keep the weight off permanently. I'm not being judgmental. I just don't want you to be triggered or to make any sudden decisions because of the images of impossible standards that come out today. It is a temporary extreme. None of this lasts. Very rarely is it unrestricted and healthy. Don't shame yourself because you don't look like these women did last night. Disclaimer, this doesn't apply to all people at the Oscars. So there's some good people, I imagine, like Donald Trump.
I don't think it's even morally
very
wrong
fine people
to, do restrictive diets, to take Ozempic or other weight loss drugs. I think it becomes wrong when you start being dishonest about it and also preaching to other people that they should be accepting of a diversity of body types and sizes when you yourself are, of course, like very fascistic about how you look and your public appearances, and you have to be the skinniest in the room. That's how they feel privately. They're not willing to project that outwards because it would ruin the image that they're effortlessly beautiful on the surface and inside.
Yeah.
That they just pull it off. They just pull it off with no work at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the dishonesty about medical intervention, right? There are lots of people who seek medical intervention to help with weight loss for a variety of reasons. And I think then, especially like, I thought this with Kim Kardashian when she lost all that weight to try and fit into Marilyn Monroe's dress. Like, there's
then
no
tore
way
it,
she was
damaged
not.
it
I wouldn't be
permanently.
surprised if she was not using, if she was using Ozempic. Like, she was using it like she was losing weight so quickly, and she's saying, oh, it's diet and exercise. Like, I just said no to sugar and you can too. Like, these people will then go on
Beyond
to try.
Meat.
Right. Like, if Mindy Kaling goes on to be like, oh, I'm actually now doing partnerships on Instagram with this whatever diet company or this supplements company, like,
or these leggings.
Right.
These
It
workout
all
clothes.
becomes something that they then profit off of, having been dishonest. The leggings bothers me a little bit less because, like, she can wear leggings and get injections, right? But the, like, supplements or stuff that, like, there's no consistent proof that it helps you lose weight, like, by then implying, even though you didn't, but just implying that this is the kind of stuff that you took to lose weight.
I've actually done this. I've had it. So, I used to model, right? I had this fitness modeling job, and, like, it was for this company. It was for essentially a pyramid scheme of weight loss.
Did you know at the time?
No, I had no idea. I was
poor
booked
model.
through somebody else. All I did was send in, pictures and stuff. So I got there, and, like, we were supposed to be signing people up for, like people would come in, and of course, they had, like, the stars of the program there that lost all this weight.
We got a super chat. Read it.
Not Tim Burton said, so Timcast Game Development Divisions is defunct. Also, Timcast hiking group when West Virginia is great for hiking.
Game development is not
as
defunct.
far as we know.
Nope.
No.
But we weren't talking about developing games. We were talking. Those questions were about playing games, and yeah.
There's poker with the boys.
Yep.
That's happening.
We had a hiking group for a while. It's just, it got cold.
There was an amazing part where a day when Hannah Claire comes up to me and she goes, "You want to go hiking with us?" And I'm like, "No."
Okay,
To be
Carter.
fair, he also rejects me when I'm like, do you want to get food?
there's another
Do you want to
one?
do anything at all? Brett's like, no.
Disco Jensen said entire generations weren't disciplined for overeating and not exercising. They were rewarded for mediocrity and uplifted for delusional self-image. It's really not fair to expect healthy results, all a lack of self-control.
I mean, in most cases, right? Like, there are cases where people have hormone imbalances.
I know, but
they're very
that's not
rare.
the point.
They're
and
very
like
rare.
Mindy Kaling, when she is explicitly asked, how did you lose the weight? She says, oh, I just ate all the same things I eat now, but just a little bit less of them.
I just cut my dose down,
And
my portion size down.
Like, that is, how you realistically lose weight for the long term, but that's not how you drop tens of pounds in a very short period of time and show up at an award show being a certain size.
Yeah.
That's not how that works, and we're not that gullible, hopefully. But, it's the same thing when people lie about plastic surgery. If you got the results you wanted and you looked as beautiful as you wanted to look after getting this surgery or these injections or fillers or whatever, then why would it be a problem to admit that you did it artificially if you got what you wanted in the end?
Yeah.
It's because we all know that it's better to be born beautiful than to buy being beautiful.
Yeah.
It just is.
Which is why they don't like to admit to the surgeries they've had, even when they've clearly had them.
That's why, that model that Bella Hadid is modeled after, Carla Bruni, is always going to be better than Bella Hadid because Bella Hadid doesn't look like that.
Yeah, she's a counterfeit.
Yeah.
I think with Mindy Kaling, if she had just said, like, yeah, I had 2 kids in recent history and I wasn't losing the weight that I wanted to, so I turned to medical intervention, no one would have freaked out, right? Like, especially if she's being monitored by a doctor. It is an off-label use for this drug. It's actually, for something else, but it doesn't really matter. People use drugs for off-label reasons all the time. So doctors prescribe them with that intent. I think it's more that she's just going to say, oh, I just happen to have more willpower than you do. Yeah. But she's not really saying that. She's just implying it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I just happen to be really good at making healthy choices all of a sudden this year in the last couple months.
But I guess you're not.
Yeah, it's that idea that she is an aspirational woman to be, and that is because she has some sort of character that she doesn't actually have, right?
Right.
I would value her honesty over her self-discipline in this moment, and instead she's presenting like self-discipline.
And another thing we need to do is destigmatize wanting to be skinny. Like, we need to destigmatize the natural desire to look good and be fit and to be beautiful.
I think we have to destigmatize, or we just have to stop pretending like when you gain weight, you have to accept it, right? I have seen so many influencers who, for whatever reason in life, you get older, your metabolism slows down, you have a kid, you just stop eating as well as you did. Like, they gain weight and they're like, but I love myself now. And like, what if one of them was like, yeah, I do really want to lose this weight. I'm not freaking out about it. I'm not going to die because of this, but I do generally feel like this is not my best form and I'd like to lose weight. Like, that sort of honesty goes against the body positivity movement, right? Being unhappy at a heavier weight cuts down this narrative like, well, you're beautiful at any size, and really you're brainwashed to be skinny by the patriarchy, which, by the way, you're not.
They want women to take up less space in society.
Men are way more forgiving of women being heavier than women are of it in themselves, right?
Yeah.
And even amongst other women, like, I think women don't care as much as women care about it for themselves. It's very much internal pressure, and whether or not that's healthy is a different debate, but I don't think we should lie and be like, but when you gain weight, you're happier.
The part that it is one of my weird pet peeves, almost to an extreme, where it's like, I have no problem with people looking. However, I have the problem with people who lie about being okay with it for themselves, because it always comes off as a major cope. Like
with Lizzo, it's like,
yes,
if you're so okay with being fat and you just love being fat, you love yourself, you think you're so hot, you're a 10 out of 10, then why is your entire discography like sprinkled with lines about it, about how you look, about how you're so thick? Like, people who are normal size don't talk about it that much.
Maybe it's because for me, I'm never going to have like a strong opinion one way or the other about my own appearance. Like, I don't feel strongly one way or the other about how I look. So it's weird that people have
a lot of guys
that
would say that.
But it always comes across as fake and as if they're trying to overcompensate for something that's clearly not true. And the dishonesty about that, if in a way, makes me feel worse for them, because I can't tell if they're lying to me or if they're lying to themselves. But that kind of celebration of mediocrity with no honesty in your portrayal bothers me more than it should, probably.
Where acceptance might be needed is where like self-control is not a factor. Like getting wrinkles, you know, or getting gray hair. Like Emilia Clarke got absolutely like steamrolled on Twitter just because she took a selfie in bad lighting and happens to be in her 30s now. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And at least, you know, she's not doing what these same people claim to hate, which is, you know, faking youth.
Yeah.
Artificially, with Botox, with fillers, with filters, with makeup, all of these different things.
Yep.
Like, that's maybe what should be more accepted and tolerated.
Agreed. There's one right there.
Steve Ryman said, some of us are going to look like Quasimodo regardless of what we do. While not obese, there is only so much one can do with a face like this other than wear a beard. You learn to look past appearance when you're ugly.
Amen, brother.
A beard, handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
I just think standards for men are different for women. Yeah. And I think women naturally are looking for social...
Sorry, I can't hear you.
I have a good thought. I'm just going to hold on.
Hold up.
Social.
I think that women are... one of the benefits of being female is that you are much more socially observant, and you tend to look for kind of what the crowd average is. Not that you have to do it, but you're aware of kind of what social norms and conventions are. And so therefore women are much more likely to strive for homogenous looks. Like, they tend to value looking like each other because it's a way of saying like, oh, I'm with the current and present time. All of this is very subconscious. Whereas men, it doesn't necessarily benefit you to look exactly like all the other men. In fact, sometimes variety helps you stand out to women. And so therefore, like, you probably have stuff you don't like about the way you look, but there are other things that compensate for it. Whereas women have to compare themselves. They don't have to, but they are biologically inclined to compare themselves to other women and say, like, am I presenting in a way that our society deems as acceptable?
Yeah. I got lucky. Like, skating is a sport that leans into being short actually benefits you in skating. So like, not being tall never bothered me because I was part of an activity that benefited from being short. Low center of gravity in rollerblading is actually quite beneficial.
It gave you an advantage in the community you were in.
Yeah, so it never, and there are, like, I don't know whether for that reason or not, there are more than a few that are short, just maybe because it's harder to do if you're taller.
That'll mean that you like see your body as something you've been given and something you can use for something.
It never bothered me. Like, but I mean, I make jokes all the time. Like, that was a very common joke I'd make. I was like, got a face for radio, but it's like you said, if it's different when you're a guy. Like, I can be like, self-deprecation is not a bad thing in like to an extent, right? Like,
it's different. I wouldn't say it's easier, but it's different.
Like, like maybe it is to me that like so much of society now is either self-obsession, which I hate, or it's people that are faking more confident, either faking more confidence they have or faking that they're more upset with themselves. They are like body dysmorphia. Like I know a couple of people who do suffer from body dysmorphia, and the ones that have it the worst seem to be the ones that talk about it the least.
Yeah, I think that's true of a lot.
That the ones that I can tell clearly struggle with it, that is only apparent to me because I know them well. They're not talking about it 24/7, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Carter, did you have something that you wanted to finish?
Oh yeah,
about?
the story of well, I mean, it was on the topic of the whole body thing. They basically hired us to like, they had like weights around and we were all supposed to be shirtless, and they implied that we got that way by using their product, but when asked about it, the people would ask me like, so you got like this, like, you know, doing this, and I'm like, no, they just hired. I was honest about it, but
You're
it's
just
like,
a model.
It's funny though.
Oh, you should have been like an Abercrombie model, like back when those were a thing.
When they stood at the front door of the
Yeah.
store.
You get free clothes.
No, you have to pay for it.
You do?
Do you?
Yeah, you pay.
Wow.
You pay for it with your employee discount, and you always have to buy something that's current. So
But
like
what about when you first start? You
I
have
did
to
work
buy
for
it.
Hollister for a
off
day.
them.
Cost of doing business.
Wow.
And you like, it's not like you can buy one T-shirt and then wear it for the whole year. You work there every time like the season changes. You
They
have to buy
should
a
bring
new
those
current
back.
thing.
We need to bring back Abercrombie models that just stand there shirtless outside of the store in the mall. Make everyone feel uncomfortable.
That was weird.
I never remembered seeing any, but it's probably because my parents like shielded me from looking.
They're like,
was
do
very
not
young.
do not look there. Do
I was
not look
very
there.
young.
I also think not every mall allowed it. Like I think you had to.
Depends on the
The mall.
state.
'Cause if
maybe.
you're-
I don't
so
remember.
funny.
I don't remember
Outside.
them being shirtless outside.
Oh, they
of the-
They
were
definitely
did. Hollister
Not
did it too.
always. They weren't always shirtless, but sometimes they were
Most of the
definitely
time.
shirtless.
like maybe because it's the mall
On,
of
like,
America.
holiday
if they can't
weekends.
afford to buy
I
a
think
shirt
it-
from the
I-
Yeah,
store.
exactly.
It depends on the state and the
Okay.
store.
All right.
There's a
More
punishment for
conservative
showing up
states,
late.
they were like,
I-
at least
Yeah.
have a sweater on.
Like I don't remember them doing that where I grew up in the Northeast, but then I do remember seeing it in like the stores in New York.
I had
Yes.
I had a
They did it in
small
Texas.
I had a small Abercrombie phase, Hollister phase.
Oh, okay.
We all did.
Did you keep any of it?
I not anymore. I was dating a girl who worked at Hollister, so it was like you felt like you had to
Support her.
fit
You're
in.
supporting
To
she doesn't profit at
Yeah.
all from
Yeah.
buying Hollister
it felt
company.
as if you.
wanted- I
I
wanted to know I
was
believe
like
in you, babe.
18. I was like 18, so there's probably
No,
some self-image
dude.
issues there. Like felt like I had to be like her because you know.
Aw.
Yeah.
I had the same thing happen to me.
Really?
Because you're dating someone or because
well,
your friends
No,
were wearing it?
my girlfriend at the time worked at Hollister, and she got me
So
a
funny.
job there.
Oh,
And,
you worked
Oh.
together then?
I worked for one day.
And then
Oh,
you
you
left.
left.
You're like, I'm
Yeah.
too beautiful for this.
No, I'd rather work at the movie theater, which is
Oh,
where I went to
see.
work.
They didn't offer you the model job, and you were like, "F this."
Don't
It
you
was
see how
just like-
talented I am?
It wasn't fun. It was really boring.
Because
I'm
you just have to
sure.
stand there and listen to
Yeah.
crazy loud
Did
music.
it smell really strongly of their cologne?
So strong,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They should bring that culture back.
Like
I miss that.
The Hollister, like at the mall around here, it's like not a Hollister anymore. It's like it's it's kind of like when you look at like a Pizza Hut that's a different business now.
Yeah.
It's like it used to be a
like
Hollister.
They
and
keep that terracotta roof.
yeah, it's like still
Yeah.
there. It's like it was like a surf shop or something. They're like what business could like most closely fit here?
Are surf shops gonna do really great in rural Maryland?
They sell. I'm sure they sell skateboard stuff there
Okay.
too. But also like have you ever seen the old Taco Bells with like the brown roof? That's like the.
I saw one in Santa Barbara with the terracotta roof.
There you
Literally
go.
half the buildings I was seeing had a terracotta roof. It's not my favorite.
There's it's where I lived in Minnesota. It's like it's really funny. Like in West St. Paul, all of these modern houses, and then right in the middle was just like this one that was. It just looks like it came from Mexico in the 1800s.
Spanish villa.
Yeah, like it's just sandwiched between a bunch of really modern houses, and I just picture the guy like getting angry letters from homeowners associations about how he's like not up to code, and him just every day out there just basking in it as he like
He's
waters
mogging
his.
them.
Yeah, he's like, haha, take that. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.